this is not as bad as the flu is. There are more people that die from the flu every single day when it becomes when the winter comes around and the fall comes around, all the way to the spring. There are more people that die from that virus than this virus. What do I say? And I said this over and over again. I'll say it again. What I think the NBA, the NCAA should have done was have doctors standing at the terminals, and before walking into the stadium, they give you the coronavirus test. If you fail the test, you send them home. The people that are not failing the test, you let them in the stadium. That's one way. Or what I would have done is I would have taken the players that have the corona outbreak virus. I would have sent them home and let them get the proper help that they need to get better, and let the other players play for the rest of the season and until the playoffs. That's what I would have done as a GM or a commissioner or something like that, because the NBA, the NHL, and the NCAA tournament is losing millions and millions of dollars. They're losing a lot of money. And these players, these athletes that are making all that money, they're still going to get their money. These NBA players and NHL players, they're still going to get their money. The NCAA, these organizations, and the owners, they're not making their money. They're not getting. And I don't feel bad for the owners. Trust me, I don't feel bad for them because they make millions and millions of dollars. I'm not saying to feel bad for them. But it bothers me that you have people that can't wait they bought their tickets in the beginning of the season and can't wait to see LeBron James play against the Clippers, and they're not going to be able to see LeBron James play against the Clippers because they're not even going to have the rest of the season to watch it. And we're not even going to see. We might not even see the playoffs for the NBA. We might not see the Clippers versus the LA Lakers in the Western Conference Finals that everybody wants to see. We might not see it this year.
That's been hyped up since the start of the year when all those guys signed.
Right. Well, let me explain something to you guys, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, full disclosure. Besides my podcast, Weapons Hot, I am a healthcare worker. I work as a pharmacy technician in a community pharmacy in Central Florida. So I am literally on the front lines with the healthcare workers, dealing with these people that are sick, that are not sick, etc. That being said, all of the sensationalism about the coronavirus coming out, I'm not saying that people do not have the right to be concerned, because they should. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. The coronavirus is something that runs along the same line as the flu. Some people are downplaying it. Others are making it sound like we're going through like the bubonic plague that killed, millions upon millions of people in the 20s.
Maybe we'll turn into zombies.
We got a better chance of Thanos coming down and, getting the Infinity Gauntlet and snapping his fingers before something like that happens.
Oh, man.
So, but I digress. All right. I mean, the coronavirus is something that should be taken into consideration. And believe it or not, I kind of applaud the leagues for being proactive in not really canceling the seasons, but they're suspended until further notice. And the reason being is because they want to see how the next 30 days are going to turn out. Within those 30 days, the CDC is going to be pounding everything that they have, and then some, to try to at least have some sort of treatment plan outlined and some sort of, or at least be close to some sort of a vaccination.
And you work in you do work in the health field like I do, and the coronavirus has something to do with your lungs. That's what it does. It affects your lungs.
Basically, what it does is that it's an advanced upper respiratory ailment. Now, the reason why, if you suffer from any type of lung disease, any type of heart disease like COPD, congestive heart failure, even if you suffer from chronic asthma like myself, I mean, I'm in my late 40s, and yes, I'm worried about getting this thing, but I probably have a better chance than somebody who is suffering from COPD who could be in their 60s. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's why for our elderly population, it's important for them to just stay inside, make sure that they're keeping themselves healthy, washing their hands and sanitizing. And I think it's utterly ridiculous that everyone is in such a panic to go out and to go get paper towels and Lysol and so on and so
Toilet
forth.
paper.
Look,
Do you hear about the guy?
You know,
Did you hear about the guy that stole 12? What is it? 12 toilet papers or whatever the heck? What was it?
Oh God! I
12
think it was
single toilet papers from I forget what supermarket.
it was a supermarket. I thought it was a restaurant. Okay.
No, it was a supermarket. He
okay.
stole 12 toilet papers from a supermarket, ran out, and he got caught down the road because there was not enough toilet paper and he didn't have enough money to pay for it.
Oh God.
I mean, come on.
You know,
Every time there's a blizzard here in New York, people are frigging going out and buying so much food because they think they're going to be trapped in their house for days on end. When everybody knows,
right,
by within 24 hours, you're going to be able to plow yourself out. This is ridiculous right now. This is absolutely ridiculous. And I understand what you're saying. You want to applaud all the commissioners for what they're doing.
Right,
I do not. I do not
proactive because of the fact that
I don't applaud.
All it takes is for one person. Errol, listen to me. I'm telling you. All it takes is for one person who is infected, who doesn't know that they're infected, and then all of a sudden they start having a coughing fit at a Knicks game, or a Nets game, or a Rangers game, or a Devils game, okay, or any game for that matter, okay? You single-handedly infect tens to possibly hundreds of people just off the bat. You know,
all right. So,
I've been talking to my coworkers for the past couple of days about the movie Outbreak. Do you guys remember the movie Outbreak?
Yes, with the monkey. Yes, with the monkey. Yes, with the monkey. Yes.
All right, right. So, although that's fiction, but the way that the Motaba virus in the movie was able to be spread, it was spread through droplets being airborne. Okay? So now, do I think the coronavirus is going to be as bad as the way that they portrayed Motaba? No, absolutely not. It's a movie. It was there for entertainment value. Okay? But what people need to do is be mindful like they do during every flu season. They encourage everybody to get their flu shot. They encourage everybody to get checkups. They encourage everybody to keep themselves healthy. It's the same stuff that they've been doing for the past 100 years since they've been practicing medicine. So I don't understand why, like, everyone is thinking that the end of the world is coming, where it's not. It's basically just an advanced form of the flu. Now, again, I want to reiterate, because I'm sure that there are people out there that are going to be like, what the hell is this guy talking about? He's downplaying it like it's not that big of a deal. You have to look at this from a rational point of view. Okay, we're not talking about a measles outbreak with no vaccine. Okay? They said the same thing in 2009 with the Zika virus. What did they do? Within 3 months after Zika, 3.5 months, they developed a vaccine. They developed a treatment program. Right now, they have no idea how to treat this virus. None. Zero. Zip. Zilch. Nada. Okay, you go to hospitals. Hospitals don't even really have the equipment or the testing necessary to properly diagnose coronavirus right now, because this is still in its infancy stages.
It's a man-made. It's a man-made virus. Okay, that's what it is. It came from China, and to me, they do have a way of figuring out if you have a corona or not. They have tests right now in urgent care. They do have the tests. And if they cared so much about making money and making sure that their sports are going to move forward, aka March Madness, which they canceled for the whole season, now all the work that these teams and these kids put into all season long, the coaches and the scouting, it went to nothing. It went to crap. And to me, if they cared so much about their sport, what I would have done, is I would have had doctors at every single terminal, or not doctors, nurses, or whatever you have, medical assistants at their terminals, making sure that you give them the test. If they pass the test, you can go right in. If you don't pass the test, we got to send you home, or we'll send you to the nearest hospital. That's what should be happening. Do not cancel March Madness with all the millions of dollars that they're throwing away. That's my argument.
You make a valid argument. All right, but I think that the NCAA again is trying to be proactive, and they're following the lead of the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball.
It's a different organization. You know this.
At least postpone. Like, cancel, I think it's a little bit of a strong word, because until I hear that's it, we're not having a tournament.
They canceled.
They said the word cancel.
They said cancel. Hold on, CJ. They did say we're canceling March Madness. It's canceled. Kaput. It's spring. It's gone.
All winter and spring NCAA sports are canceled.
There's no more NCAA tournament. There's not going to be a March Madness. There's not going to be a bracket. There's not going to be anything. That's the facts.
Well, then shame on the NCAA then. You know why? Because what they're doing is that they're not following the road of the professional route, where the professional route, they were very careful in how they worded it, where they said, we are postponing games for the time being until further notice, until we can feel safe having not only the players out there, but also the fans to be able to enjoy the games, which is the right thing to do.
Right, and they also could have made it easier, because they have students, obviously, that are in classes. Most of their semesters end in May. Why not have them be right after that school year, so they could focus on their classes, whether they're online still, because most of them are online at this point, or in-person classes if those schools are willing to risk it. If they do something like that and have the tournaments be in May or June right after that, they could do something like that where this whole outbreak could go out. Because the NCAA had a lot more leeway to do that because of that in comparison to the professional sports leagues.
Right. You know, and the thing is that, see, I didn't hear the NCAA announcement today because I spent the majority of the day at work fielding questions about the coronavirus and filling prescriptions, etc. So I really didn't get the opportunity to really hear a lot of the press conferences today. A lot of the stuff that I heard was all second and third hand info.
What a bunch of baloney! What the guy, the president of the NCAA,
Mark Emmert,
yes, the president of the NCAA tournament said it. What a crock! Okay, because to me, as much as you're trying to protect the players and young players, these kids are young players. They're even if they got the coronavirus, they're not going to die from it. Unless they have a lung problem.
But here's the thing, Arrow, here's the thing. And I get it. I see the angle that you're coming from. But the thing is that the NCAA is looking at this as a liability issue.
That's fine.
Could you imagine if, God forbid, all right, say Duke plays Temple, okay, in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Yes.
And there's a kid who's on there who has the coronavirus and doesn't know it.
I told you.
Sick, and God forbid he dies.
That's fine.
Okay?
And
you know what kind of a lawsuit the NCAA
absolutely
would be looking at?
I understand what you're saying.
The irony is Duke was the first one to be proactive about it. They told the ACC, we're not playing any of our sports. Then the ACC said, we're not playing any of our sports. And then it led to a whole ripple effect with every other conference.
I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Duke or North Carolina. I don't really care. That's not what I'm saying. You could have figured a way where you could have kept playing in the tournament. You could have had the tournament and the bracket. And the way that I told you guys that I would have done is these are multi-million, billion-dollar organizations. These schools are they're making millions and millions of dollars off of March Madness. Do you know that every single game that these teams play in March Madness, they're making $10 million?
Win or lose, yeah.
$10 million. So you're telling me, and they do have a test right now. They do have the corona test. They do it at my hospital. There is a test. It's one test. All you got to do is put your tongue on it. Bomb. They'll know exactly if you have corona or you don't. Okay? They should have had these tests set up at the stadium before anybody walks into the stadium. If you have it, you set up like a bank of doctors or whatever you do, or make sure that there's paramedics or whatever you have, ambulance there, so they can rush them to the hospital and get them what they need. That's what I would have done if I was the president of the NCAA tournament. I would have not canceled the NCAA tournament.
Well, I think if you were president of the NCAA tournament, the first thing that you wouldn't have said in front of a camera was, "We're canceling March Madness." That's a death sentence right there.
Well, they weren't trying to initially, though.
The prepared statement should have read that you would have been given if you were the president of the NCAA. Should have been, we are going to postpone the NCAA tournament until further notice, until the coronavirus, until we feel that it is safe to let our student athletes back into the facilities, back into the arenas, to let the fans back in, so that way everyone can enjoy the experience of the NCAA tournament.
Well, look on the bright side.
They wouldn't have said cancel.